So if you have seen our recent video about TikTok, it got pretty deep. And I want to say this. That video about how TikTok has been caught red-handed banning Christians, shadow banning Christians across the platform, that video is so much bigger than just about being upset about being banned from their platform. That is not what this is about. Anyone who thinks that this is just about complaining because we were banned from the platform, you probably didn't see the whole video. If you see the whole video, you will see this is really about something much darker. This is about a deliberate act being inflicted upon us by going after the minds of our youth. That's huge, and this is big. This is really big, and I can't really just say everything flat out. You have to kind of speak in a code type of way, because there's just certain things you can't say. But if you watch the documentary all the way through, especially from the middle to the end, and you pay attention to the words used, and you pray for insight, you can break through the code and see what exactly is going on. It's eye-opening. Those who have finished the video see that this is much bigger than just being banned from their platform for being a believer. This is about an agenda that unfortunately is being afflicted upon even our kids. And we clearly see that. We clearly see that when kids go to the app, they are being bombarded with, I'll just say it, pornographic images, pornographic videos. Porn stars have infiltrated the app and are using it to go after our kids. And let me say this. When you have a child who is going to an app to search for Pokemon and somehow encounters a porn star, you have a problem. Because at this point, you have a child going to do something else, and the porn stars are now trying to come to them. That's a huge problem. And so is it a national security risk? Absolutely. You can argue if it's spyware or something along those lines, but it is obviously an attempt to hack our minds. Who's behind it? Well, like I said, watch the documentary, and you'll be able to pick up on that. You'll pick up on what exactly is going on, especially if you watch it all the way through. But you gotta really use your thinking cap. Not everything's just said overtly. So this is a big thing, and with something like this, the way to really sound the alarm is to, I think in this situation, is to mention how there has been complete overt discrimination by TikTok against people of faith. That has been completely shown. People are documenting it. People are sharing it with us, with others. Even in the documentary itself, you can see all the reports coming in about how they've been banned. Just simple videos about Bible study, simple videos about Jesus have been deemed as hate speech, and just Bible studies, and they've been shadow banned. And now people are raising a fuss about it. Good job. And many of you are going to their Twitter and letting them know this is not okay. You cannot do this towards a people group. It is absolutely wrong. You cannot do this. And I know people have said this has been going on for a long time. Some people say, what can you expect? Look at the nation that built this. And to that, I would say, when you have documented evidence from multiple users showing that a platform has been across the board trying to silence and shadow a people group, a faith group in particular, that is not something to just say, oh, this can be expected. That is something to say, hey, it's time to speak out about this. It's time to show that this type of conduct will no longer be tolerated by any company. When you are caught silencing a people group, acting in prejudice and bigotry, we're letting people know by sounding an alarm on this TikTok situation that we're not going to put up with it. And it's not okay. And as you can see, I am a black person, right? Obviously, I'm a black man. And if you know anything about race relations in America, you know that when African Americans, after our ancestors experiencing things like slavery and Jim Crow and all that kind of thing. If black people, if we even have the slightest hint that there is some type of injustice happening, what do? Well, we protest, we march, we give speeches, we do all kinds of stuff because we don't want to see anything from the past creeping up again. So if we can sound an alarm about injustices regarding race, it's time to sound an alarm about injustices done towards people of faith. And it's time. It's time to use this as an example to show that we're not going to just sit down and be silent when we see these types of things happening. You see, for believers, often when we are mistreated and shadow banned and shut out, we have a tendency to say, that's to be expected. And it can be expected. But at some point, you have to stand and make enough noise that the world sees what's going on. And if it continues, at least it won't be because we did nothing. So we're going to continue to sound the alarm on this. And I want to share with you something a friend just shared with me late last night. He is just a normal guy, normal young guy, and he put out a video on the book of Revelation, right? Just a small little video. He wasn't even really talking in the video. He just showed us passage from the book of Revelation. The video, apparently he went under TikTok's radar, and the video blew up. 2 million views in a day. And then he has evidence that they have banned the video so that it will not continue to go viral and spread. Let's watch.
But look, alright, 2.1 million views on this one, right? 385,000 likes. But if you go to the sound, it's nowhere to be seen on the sound. And like last night, it was around like right under this kid. No, right above this kid. But now I'm not even here. So it literally shadow banned the video from going even more than what it was doing, because it was going up and then just stopped at 2.1. Oh, man, bro, this is crazy. Like, this is just crazy. I should have been in the hashtag as well when you realize, and I'm not even here as well. This is crazy, bro.
So basically, this video was going viral, and he was able to see and track how it was doing in the rankings with the sound and where it was showing on the app. And after them seeing that it was going viral and talking about God, they removed it from the rankings. The other videos are still in the rankings, but they removed his particular video, and they removed the sound from it that allows other people to discover the video. Basically, they didn't like the fact that the video was about God. They shadow banned the video, and he's probably himself going to be shadow banned next. We're seeing this across the platform, and we're not going to be silent about it. We will not allow companies to openly act in discrimination towards people of faith and shut up about it. It's not okay, and it's time to sound the alarm, because if you don't, if you allow this to continue, you continue to roll over and do nothing, what's going to happen next? And so, thank you to everyone who has been contacting TikTok on Twitter. Not that it's going to change them, but at least it lets the world see what's clearly going on. Thank you to everyone who has been sharing that documentary to news organizations to do whatever we can to spread the word. And I think, if TikTok doesn't release some statement on this whole thing, and especially if they don't release a statement on how they are going to stop these predators and porn stars from reaching out to our kids who are trying to do something else, then it's time to put pressure on other organizations. TikTok can't really do much if they're not on Apple's App Store. They can't really do much to reach us if they aren't on Google Play. And so, we can only hope and pray that when other companies and organizations see that this app is openly acting in discrimination towards a people group, since we live in a world that is so inclusive, you would hope that they would say, we don't want to have anything to do with this TikTok, if this is how they're operating. And unlike before, this is unprecedented, because unlike before, now we are having surmounting evidence and documentation that they are silencing and shadowing just Christians across the platform. When you have that going down, you cannot be silent, especially when you see the agenda behind it. I can't say much about that right now, but if you see the documentary, you will see that anytime you are openly suppressing content that is inspiring and faith-based and allowing content that is vile and corrupting to be pushed on your platform, you are responsible for what happens to the users when they are infected and corrupted themselves. And so, this is big. This is big. And like I said, it's bigger than just TikTok. It's big, way bigger than TikTok. We could, there are other platforms. We have Christian platforms that are already like TikTok that we can use. This is not about just having a place to go and talk. This is about sounding an alarm that believers are not going to sit and be silent when a company is openly acting discrimination towards them. This is about sounding an alarm that we see what is going down and what is really happening to the minds of our youth. That is the true thing that is most concerning. And I hope that, with this whole thing, we make Bible documentaries. We don't go after organizations. That's just not what we do. We just make Bible documentaries covering the Bible with Bible studies. So this is really an aside to everything that we do as an organization. But it is my hope that through this whole TikTok thing going on right now, if there's anything we can really pray for, is that no other child is exposed to the things that children have been exposed to on the app. And so at the least, if you can alert other parents about what is going on, watch the documentary, okay, and alert the parents what is going on in the app so that they can spare their kids from being exposed to the predatory things that are now taking place on it. That's one of the biggest things we can hope for, is that if one child is saved from this whole thing, then this campaign is worth it. And I will say this, last thing. Many will already say, the Bible does foretell that these things will take place in the end times. And that's absolutely true. That's true. These things are foretold. But I still believe that we have a duty to speak up in the face of injustice. Paul, he inspires me, Apostle Paul. He knew that his life was going to experience hardship, persecution, and flogging and things of that sort. But on one instance, Paul decided to speak up for his rights. Remember that? In Acts chapter 22, they were going to flog him. And he said, wait a second, I'm a Roman citizen. And he contacted the commander and the people in charge and said, hey, they can't flog me. I am a Roman citizen. I shouldn't even be arrested right now. This is not right. You need to go and do your research on where I am from and my rights. I am not going to be flogged in this instance because it is injustice and it's not right. And when they looked into it, they were shocked. They realized they had messed up. They released Paul. They basically apologized to him and said, I'm sorry, we can't mess with you because you're right. We don't have the proper authority to flog you. Now, Paul, he knew flogging was a part of his future. He knew that he was going to be persecuted for his assignment. But he stood up for an injustice that was committed against him because he knew it wasn't right. And so even though we know hard times will come, even though we know there will be injustices, it doesn't mean we have to be silent when we see it going down. And this TikTok thing, a platform that is openly acting in discrimination against people of faith, this is a perfect instance to be silent no more and to show we will not stand for this. When we see our brothers and sisters in the faith being shut up for just sharing Bible studies across the platform, but yet there are pages on there that are filled with porn stars that are going after our kids, and that's not shut down. I think it's time to stand up, and I think it's time to speak out. We all have a part to play in this. That's why this is Ambassadors of Christ Network, because it's not just about us. We all are ambassadors, and we all are getting the intel on this, and it's time to move out and get engaged. God bless you.